In Pretoria, South Africa, a world away from Silicon Valley, the story of a man who would redefine the 21st century was about to begin. Born in 1971, Elon Reeve Musk entered a world of complexities. From his earliest moments, there was a quiet intensity about him. As a child, he would often retreat into his own mind, a state his family called blanking out. But he wasn't blank. He was building worlds. He didn't just read books, he inhaled them. Devouring encyclopedias, he built a foundation of knowledge that would one day fuel his impossible ideas. But his intellectual world was a refuge from a harsh reality. School was a place of torment where he endured years of severe bullying. Salvation came in the form of a computer. At 12, he taught himself to code, finding a language where he could create and control his own reality. The result was Blastar, a video game he sold to a computer magazine for $500. It was the first time his intellect had generated capital. Knowing his ambitions were too big for South Africa, at 17, he left for North America, chasing a dream he could barely articulate. The path wasn't easy. He worked odd jobs from cleaning boiler rooms to farm labor, learning the value of grit and perseverance. At Queen's University in Canada, he began to find his footing, his mind sharpened by academic challenges and new connections. He transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, earning degrees in both physics and economics, the twin pillars that would define his future ventures. With his brother Kimball, he launched his first real startup, Zip2. It was a primitive online city guide, a bold idea for the dawn of the internet. They had no money for an apartment, so they slept in the office, showered at the YMCA, and poured every ounce of their being into the company. Zip2 was a glimpse of the future, merging maps with business directories, a concept that would later become commonplace. Their hustle paid off. They found themselves in boardrooms, two young brothers pitching their vision to the giants of the tech industry. In 1999, Compaq acquired Zip2. At 28 years old, Elon Musk was officially a millionaire. He bought a McLaren F1, the supercar of his dreams, a symbol of his success. But his ambition was just getting started. He would soon wreck the uninsured car. But for Musk, material possessions were secondary to the mission. He simply moved on. He invested almost all of his new fortune into his next idea, X.com, a company that aimed to revolutionize the ancient industry of banking. X.com merged with a rival, Confinity, founded by Peter Thiel and Max Levchin. This union would create a legend, PayPal. PayPal made sending money online simple and secure, becoming the default payment system for the burgeoning world of e-commerce. But success bred conflict. Elon clashed with the board over branding and technical decisions, creating deep divisions within the company. The conflict came to a head while he was on his honeymoon. While he was in the air, the board made their move. In a swift coup, he was replaced as CEO. It was a painful lesson in corporate politics and betrayal. Though ousted, he remained the largest shareholder. But the experience left a permanent scar, fueling his desire for absolute control in his future endeavors. In 2002, eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. Musk's share was over $180 million after taxes. This wasn't just money. It was freedom. It was the capital he needed to chase the dreams that had filled his mind since childhood. He looked to the stars. He believed that for humanity to have a long-term future, it must become a multiplanetary species. The first step? Mars. He went to Russia, hoping to buy decommissioned rockets, but the aerospace establishment didn't take the young internet millionaire seriously. On the plane home, defeated, he ran the numbers. He realized that with first principles thinking, he could build the rockets himself for a fraction of the cost. And so, in 2002, in an empty warehouse in California, the Space Exploration Technologies Corporation was born. SpaceX. The goal was audacious, bordering on insane, to make space travel affordable by building reusable rockets. The early years were brutal. The team worked relentlessly to build their first rocket, the Falcon 1. The first launch failed. The rocket and millions of dollars went up in a ball of flame. As his devastated team looked on, Musk addressed them. He said, "For my part, I will never give up, and I mean never." The second launch failed. The third launch failed. The company was on the brink of collapse, and the critics were celebrating. They had just enough money for one more attempt. The fourth launch of the Falcon 1 was do or die for SpaceX. Success. On September 28, 2008, SpaceX became the first privately funded company to put a liquid-fueled rocket into orbit. The explosion of joy and mission control was the sound of an impossible dream becoming reality. They had stared into the abyss and won. Just weeks later, NASA called. They awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to resupply the International Space Station. The company was saved. This validation paved the way for their greatest engineering feat, landing an orbital-class rocket booster, a holy grail of rocketry that made reusability a reality. They pushed the boundaries further, landing 2 boosters in near-perfect synchronicity, a display of technological prowess that stunned the world. With the Falcon Heavy launch, he sent his own Tesla Roadster into orbit, a piece of marketing genius that captured the world's imagination. But this was all a stepping stone towards the ultimate goal, Starship, the vehicle designed to take humanity to Mars. While reaching for the stars, Musk was also tackling a problem on Earth. In 2004, he invested in a small electric car startup, Tesla. Just as both SpaceX and Tesla were burning through cash, the 2008 financial crisis hit, threatening to destroy everything he had built. He described it as the worst year of his life. Both companies were on the verge of bankruptcy. He faced an impossible choice. He refused to choose. He scraped together his last remaining millions from the PayPal sale and bet everything on both companies. The bet paid off. Tesla survived and went on to create the Model S, a car that proved electric vehicles could be beautiful, fast, and desirable. At the Model S launch, his tears weren't just about a car. They were about the sheer, brutal struggle to bring it into existence. To power his electric revolution, he built gigafactories, machines that build the machine, on a scale the world had never seen. His vision was the alien dreadnought, a factory so automated it would operate at inhuman speeds, accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. But his relentless drive and impulsive nature also created chaos, summed up in a single infamous tweet that drew the ire of financial regulators. The battle with the SEC cost him his chairmanship and millions in fines, a harsh reminder that his words had massive consequences. He continued to take risks, unveiling the radical Cybertruck in a demo that famously and embarrassingly went wrong. Yet, despite the drama and setbacks, investors believed in the mission. Tesla's value soared, making it the most valuable automaker on the planet. But cars and rockets weren't enough. With Neuralink, he turned his attention inward, to the human brain, aiming to create a symbiotic link between humanity and AI. Early demonstrations, though controversial, showed the first steps toward a future where technology could solve brain injuries and neurological disorders. To solve the problem of urban traffic, he started the Boring Company, imagining a 3D network of tunnels to transport cars at high speed. In 2022, he turned his sights on the digital public square, making a dramatic, high-stakes bid to buy Twitter. His takeover was as unconventional as he was, a whirlwind of memes, controversy, and a literal kitchen sink. He rebranded the iconic platform to X, signaling his ambition to turn it into an everything app. The move was disruptive, chaotic, and polarizing, a perfect reflection of the man himself. Through it all, he remained a uniquely public figure, using platforms to speak directly to the world, unfiltered and unrestrained. Behind the headlines and controversies, there were glimpses of a father, driven by a desire to create a better future for his children. His Starlink constellation began to blanket the globe, aiming to provide high-speed internet to every corner of the Earth. He now stands at the helm of multiple revolutionary companies, a general commanding several armies on several different fronts, all at once. The work continues on Starship, the colossal rocket that holds the weight of his ultimate dream. The journey has been long, marked by brutal failures and impossible triumphs. The weight of it is etched on his face, but the fire in his eyes has never dimmed. Because for Elon Musk, it has never been about the money or the fame. It has always been about looking at the horizon and seeing the next world waiting.